Hi, Nevena.
Hi.
How are you?
Good, thank you. How's it going?
Yeah, it's fine. It's the second podcast, so I'm glad you could make it and take your free time to talk to me. That's very nice of you.
I'm always here for my Twitter friends.
We don't know each other in person, but we know each other from Twitter, which is funny.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
yeah. When I was in Belgrade in 2009, the first people that I met was like through Twitter events. They were like tweet ups, and there was where I met all the people on the Twitter. It was kind of weird. So we were talking, and then hey, we have like a meetup in real person.
Yeah.
That was funny. But to you, can you tell us a little bit about you, your background, and why or what led to the creation of your company, Recruit?
Yeah, sure. So I've been in the recruitment industry for 10 years now. And this is not actually my first company. I founded a tech recruitment agency called Omnis Group, and we started locally and then grew to the US and set up a couple of entities, both in Europe and the US. And eventually, working with different founders, I figured that they might need a different solution to their to what to their needs. Recruitment agencies are on one hand a great source, and I own one, and building relationships with clients comes like through years and so on. But sometimes founders are new to the grounds, they need help, they just raised money, they don't know where to start, and they need a community. It takes a village to build a product, and that's what Recruit actually is. It's a big village of industry professionals helping you build your company.
Nice, nice. What is the difference between Recruit and like legacy HR company? Because I just know the legacy companies, and I think we talked about on Twitter where I
Yeah.
complained or where I rant about like old recruitment agencies that are somewhat
Yeah.
left behind. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so even now with all the layoffs, companies are struggling to attract hires, right? Because the top talent and the seniors thereafter, they're off the market in 10 days. That's the official stat. So the main difference between a solution like Recruit and any recruitment agencies would be the control over cost per hire companies have. So with Recruit, you have fixed costs depending on how much are you comfortable spending money on external hires, right? And on the same time, recruitment agencies have variable fees that depend on usually the gross salary of the hired candidate. So I would say that's the main difference, the control you have over the costs. But at the same time, it also Recruit allows you to build your employer branding through the community that we've built, and at the same time also build evangelists, like advocates for your company. If they like what you do, they're going to share your jobs and help you get your word out.
Nice, great. Yeah, when I have only bad experience with HR or recruitment companies because, as I said in our small Twitter exchange, it's always most of them don't have like any idea how technology works or the tech industry, and this is where I like see Recruit. It's like you know what the people want, you know what the people need, and how the people how the people like they're not always open, they're more like introverts, and they have like a different style of talking. And where do you see the old companies, like the big HR the recruitment companies, they are just spray and pray on LinkedIn? Because I'm
Yeah.
getting like jobs for a financial advisor. I'm bad with money, horrible bad with money. I'm getting like, what was it? There's also like bookkeeping. I don't know how they get me. That's. Do you know how the process works in their world?
No, I get it. Like in every job, there are good recruitment agencies. There are not so great recruitment agencies. I don't like to trash talk my colleagues basically. And like recently, what I'm really pissed about is seeing recruiters fly off the shelf with the layoffs, because eventually, like those are the people that are building the companies they're being laid off from. But at the same time, I do understand your experience, and I've said this many times in any podcasts I've been on. Like, I understand everyone involved in the process, hiring managers and founders and talent and recruiters, because I have this perspective. I believe I'm in like a very objective place at the moment, like where I can look at the market and see what's good, like what's working and what's not working. So recruitment agencies, what we did differently, I can't talk about like work they're doing wrong, but I can talk about what we did great in Omnis, is that our onboarding and training with recruiters is usually 3 months, which is crazy long. Like you want someone to jump in and start working, and we do guide them through the process, even of reaching out to candidates on LinkedIn and so on. But what we really want in the beginning is to build them a knowledge base, where they can start off with like learning about the technology, learning about the different niches in the industry. Like what's the difference between hiring for a SaaS company and an outsourcing company, and like product based and so on. Like different methodologies. Like they have to know all of this, so they're going to be able to source qualified talent. So that's what makes a difference, right? How much time you invest in your talent. So I believe that's the thing with Omnis. And with Recruit is a whole other thing, actually. Like what I wanted to do with Recruit, and just to give a sense of the people that are going to listen to us, Recruit is a referral marketplace where you can earn money by referring others for advertised jobs. So like basically anyone can be a recruiter, including yourself, Alex. And at the same time, companies are benefiting from it because they have this completely new source of hire. So we always had internal referrals, and we always had external hiring through recruitment agencies, but you never had external referrals officially. Like you can ask your friends about, like, can you refer someone for this opening? But there was no such a platform where you could post a job and expect external referrals. So that's what we're building. And what this allowed, and what is different about it, is, as I said, apart from the cost savings and employer branding, is to build a community around the fact that you're hiring. Like if someone sees that you're building something cool, like I don't know, like health tech, for example, that's a great example, because they were really successful on Recruit, everything regarding health tech, because you're gonna contribute to something of a greater cause. And that's, I think, a big differentiator, like in the field.
Yeah, got it. When you say cause, what are the most important things that people are looking or seeking now in comparison to 10 years ago? Is there a like, we want more money, or is it like we want personal freedom, like to schedule our time the way we want? We have like, it's not like the work-life balance. It's like where you have to fit your life into your job, something like that. Or more like to fit your job into your life. So what do you see it, or what's the difference?
My personal belief is that I don't believe in the work-life balance. Like this syntax itself is wrong, because like work is a part of my life and I want to enjoy it. I want to feel it, like, and so on. So talking about purpose and contributing to a greater cause, I think it's been the biggest motivator I've seen in the last 2 years. Because I believe during the pandemics, all of us had the time to like reflect on what we did so far with our lives, and depending on what we've seen, like, have I made a difference? Have I made this world better? Like, have I made it better for myself at least? So yeah, I think purpose is what we are all after. Like, am I going to leave this earth a better place? But at the same time, with the Gen Z, and they're my favorite topic for the past few months. I'm Gen Z fluid, by the way. I'm really proud of it.
Wait. Sorry. What is Gen Z fluid?
I'm sure you've noticed they use a different slang, different Have you noticed all of these like weird words popping up, like quiet quitting and so on?
What? Quiet quitting?
Yeah.
Quiet quitting. I think I heard it somewhere. Like, you don't work, you don't give any performance, or you do like come to work late.
Minimal.
Yeah. The bare minimum.
Yeah. And so they eventually fire you because you wanted to be fired, actually, and that's I'm sure that was a concept like existing before this generation, but they slammed the name on it, and they're filming themselves getting fired on TikTok, which is like, it's mind blowing for me, getting fired for my generation was something you would never say out loud. Like, you would be ashamed of it, right? At the same time, yeah, they're a completely different breed. I love how much they know how to set boundaries. That's the biggest lesson we should learn from them, actually. And what we thought that we did well, like we fought for, and I'm talking about millennials, we fought for our rights. We thought we're on a great track, to make a difference and so on. And they came in and did exactly that. Like, they said no when they wanted to, like when they didn't want to do something, like they would say no, they would put a stop to it. So I'm pretty amazed with this generation. I think they're going to do great. And seeing them move into management is going to probably leave a mark on the talent market.
With every great thing, there is a flip side. So when you say they are like, okay, that's my boundary, I will not work. I think I saw somebody on TikTok working at Starbucks like 6 hours straight, and was like complaining and crying, and I was like confused. Well, 6 hour shift, that's okay. That's not it's a normal shift. I wouldn't say it like on a construction site, 15 hours in the sun, and that will be something where I will be like crying. But where do you see the challenges for the employers? Because when you have like a workforce that is, I don't want to say brittle, but they don't, I think maybe it's just me, but hard working is not much in any perspective for some people. So like, it's not hard work to achieve something, but it's more like to wiggle yourself to the top. And there are some challenges for the employers, I guess.
Yeah, there are going to be definitely challenges for the employers, just as it was challenging for the boomers with millennials entering the market. That's what I said. Like, it's always a challenge. It's a generational challenge, you can say. What I've seen so far, companies are mostly struggling with retention. And I mean, they were always struggling, at least in tech. And I'm like tech native, so I mostly talk about tech industry. And they were always struggling with retention, but eventually now they're like, there are some norms, and the way we laid out stuff in in tech in this industry, there are like norms about certain topics, like, and it's funny, but eventually when we saw HR and traditional roles of what HR was moving into, like people ops, actually caring about the employees, it was the first time that I actually thought, wow, companies are thinking about retention, like you want to, like, I've invested into this employee and I want to keep them now, but that doesn't work with Gen Z, that's the norm we set, like they're gonna take care of me because I'm their employee and that's what they're supposed to do, but Gen Z wants more. They want the freedom, they want the purpose, they want as well the money, and they want mostly what I've seen and what they put like a lot of attention to is their mental health. And what I've seen with them is that they're probably the most healthy generation, like up until now, because there are stats that are saying that they're not using drugs, they're not drinking, they really love themselves. And if you heard that sentence, it's about loving yourself, it's about romanticizing your life, that's what Gen Z is all about, I think, so they're kind of selfish. I mean, and it's okay to be selfish, but at the same time, I think the biggest challenge it will be bridging the gap between what is needed to build a good company. Hard work is also needed, and what Gen Z was taught that they should expect.
Okay. Yeah.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah. But for with all the layoffs, I guess a lot of them is overhiring. They had a lot of money in the last years, and they just realized, okay, we have a bunch of product managers. They are just on Twitter and talking about the day, how they drink in the morning chai latte and then go to yoga and have one meeting in the day, and in the evening they have lobster and I don't know what's the shrimp cocktails, and then on the balcony with a white wine. But I
don't know.
Yeah,
I don't trust the algorithm. I don't trust the algorithm. It's funny that those videos popped up just before the layoff started. I do believe some of them were meant to, I don't know, promote how great it is to work at those companies, but it kind of slipped away from that narrative. Once we figured out, okay, it's not normal to have 3 lunches at a company, but at the same time, the layoffs, yeah, I agree. It was due to overhiring, and it was too frenzy at some point because it was too easy to raise money at any startup during the past 2 years. And what I'm seeing right now is I think we're just going back to the normal, it's not that easy to raise investment, and at the same time, it's not that easy to get a job wherever you want, and companies aren't we're just going back to normal. And it's going to take at least a year from what from my experience, at least, to get back to the normal pace, what we were used to before the pandemic started. But, yeah, it was a crazy time, and now we're entering our renaissance phase, I guess.
Yeah, it's leveling a little bit out and then going, as you said, to normal. But going back to the algorithm and all the videos and stuff, wasn't that the main thing for working in tech? I never worked in tech. I always worked in agencies, and it's a total different thing. When you get water and coffee, that's it. You're grateful. We don't need much. And it was always for me, you see Netflix, they have a barista, they have a chef, and Facebook, they have or Google, they have a whole campus. You can get a car, you can get a bike, you have a gym, you don't have to leave work. And I think that was the main goal, to attract the people that want to live there and don't look at the time they are working there. So you can be there for 12 hours and work 8 hours and go to sleep or go to a pod and then work again. So you live kind of there. And now it's a little bit falling apart. People are just enjoying this theme park and not really working. So that's from my perspective, but it could be totally wrong.
Well, they learn to set boundaries.
Yeah. 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 Where do you see the recruitment and the next generations? How will it work? Gen Z will set different boundaries than we did. Mm-hmm. And it feels like sometimes it's a little bit over the top, and mm-hmm. companies have to meet in the middle somewhere to find common ground and say, okay, you can drink they are not drinking alcohol, but you can have 3 lunches the whole day and just do yoga and stuff. Like, you have to work a little bit to get your salary. What do you think will the next generation do? Will they go back to our way, like we were, or will they go in a different direction? Or is there some like insights where you see that somebody or some group is differently than the Gen Zs?
I think the biggest, we're going to see, I hate making predictions. I think only stupid people make predictions, but I think AI is going to be a big game changer here in terms of the tools we use in recruitment and how the recruitment industry is going to look like by the whole. And therefore, I believe that companies are going to put all of their effort into good selection process. Like, you're going to be able to source to like with Recruit or like any other sourcing or recruitment tool. You're going to be able to source candidates qualified to do the job. But the main idea for the companies here is to learn how to do the proper selection for the candidates that should join their company. So that's going to be what's up in the next couple of years. At the same time, to get a job, I believe we're going to need a complete different set of skills. Like, if you remember, like, I remember learning about SQL, like sometimes in the past, but like, I didn't really believe I'm going to need it one day, and then you picked it up at some point again or whatever, I think that's going to be bare minimum, like the knowledge you need to have, like some skills. And in terms of that, I don't think all of our jobs are going to have to shift into learning how to work along with AI, and like putting AI into our power. So those are the 2 biggest things I think we're going to be seeing changing, like up until, like, if you asked me probably 2 years ago, like, I would say that everyone should start learning how to code in elementary school, like they need to like learn the basics. But now, like, I believe we're going to need to shift our mindsets into learning how to work with AI in each of our jobs. Yeah.
That's a good prediction. I think I can totally agree on that point. AI, up until ChatGPT, which has like an interface that is usable for everybody, you don't have to run Python and code like 2 days and I don't know what. You can just start working. I think it will help people to be better at their job and to be more efficient in their work, because a lot of things that we all do is dull work, like spreadsheets and emails, stuff like most emails, I'm just generating them because it's like, it's better, it's faster.
Yeah.
So, and it will change, as you said, the skill set. But I think the thing that you said, like everybody should know how to code, I think that should be also like a main thing, because when you know how to code, when you understand the concept, it's easy to adapt technology. So it's easy for you to adapt like AI. And the next thing will be, let's say, AI content, like text generation and AI image generation and whatnot, because you always have to struggle and to fix bugs and overcome them, and you build like a resilient mindset. And every problem that comes, you will just find a solution because you're not afraid of anything.
Yeah. Well, you're gonna need to learn how to ask the question at least,
Yeah, that's
an adoption rate among that's like the baseline, because like you can use ChatGPT now totally wrong, like you need to know how to build that prompt at least, and I've asked my niece, like as soon as it became mainstream, like she's in high school, and I was like, is she using like this for high school? And I was like, Anna, are you using ChatGPT for high school? And she was like, yeah, but don't tell mom, like, and I was like, yeah, I was like, of course she is, like they're, it's already in high school. I don't know how professors will gonna fight this,
Yeah, I think you could go the way, and I saw a few weeks ago, my wife watched like TV show in a Serbian TV show. I think who was it? I think Petar Vasic. I think he was there, and some AI professor, and he was embracing ChatGPT to the students, and his approach was, I hope I don't get this wrong, he would generate like statements with ChatGPT and then show the students and say, okay, which one is right? And you have like 50. And everything is like similar, but there is like a slight difference. So you have to know what's going on to figure out what's true and whatnot. On the other hand, you can do it like Italy and just ban it.
Cut it out.
Yeah.
That's a way
cut
to
it
do
out. But
English as well, like.
Yeah, but I saw I think yesterday on Product Hunt, some dude built pizza GPT, like Italian flavored wrapper for GPT. Yeah. How will this CV look like in 5 years? Because now it's like we know Office, we know. By the way, is always a lie. It's the biggest lie that people are proficient in Excel and Word. It's like, that's the biggest lie on the CV. But besides the obvious things, like I can code in JS or Python, stuff like that, and I have these skills, will AI take a place in that? Like I can write prompts?
Yeah. But at the same time, like what's really interesting about HR tech is that we are used to AI. We've seen AI and put in use in this industry, in recruitment and hiring industry, for quite a while. It's been there with different softwares and different like ways to use it. So we're kind of used to the idea. What are my main concerns in AI when it comes to HR tech is actually bias and what we feed them with, like feed the software with. So yeah, that's the struggle. What the CV is gonna look like, I'm not sure actually. I'm still like picking up all the concepts. I do believe that one of the biggest skills that you can invest in right now is actually learning how to use ChatGPT properly, because I still believe we don't use it properly. I've seen it put into different uses. Like I'm a really bad copywriter. I've been struggling with this
Same.
for a
Same.
long time. Yeah. And like ChatGPT is gonna help me with that, like, but at the same time, like how much how should I put this? How much faith am I gonna put into into the result I'm getting from ChatGPT? In terms of like, I still believe it's probably more reasonable to hire a copywriter that knows what he's doing, like. So yeah, I think we're still learning how to use it properly. So I'm not sure what the CV is gonna look like. What do you think?
I think the CV. First of all, I hate CVs because it's like you can put on that whatever you want. It's mine is like 2 pages, and it's basically like all the things that I ever did, but they are not even online anymore. So it's like they live somewhere on a server in a backup storage, but they are not available anymore. I think we will have to I think the best way to promote yourself like an employee is to tell a story and provide like contacts, like people that can vouch for you, and they say, hey, he's doing this and that. So like
Referral, maybe.
yeah, referral maybe. Yeah, but on the last job that I got, or when I changed agencies 3 years ago, I just sent like a bunch of phone numbers from old clients and colleagues, because I had like a CV. It was like 60-9, and it was designed good, and all the things were there, and it was fine. But it was like 24 slides, so nobody reads that. And at the end, I just sent these contacts and said, "This is what I did for them, and for this company, and for this person," because it's better for them to ask like honest questions. And how is he when he works with you? Because that's something you can't find even in an AI tool. That's what you said, it's biased. So if the CV doesn't fit, but the person is a great cultural fit, then the person is like removed from the process.
Yeah.
So I think the referral
like there is a big difference between active and passive talent. So active talent, those are candidates actively looking for jobs, and they're the ones that are going to apply to your job. At the same time, you have passive talent like yourself. You're not actively looking for a job. You have a great set of skills, and I'm going to reach out to you because I have a better opportunity for you, right?
Great. You have my email.
Yeah. So, if I ever figure out what you're doing. All right. So yeah. But at the same time, like if I'm working with a candidate, if a candidate applied to an opening, you're right. I'm gonna expect them to sell me this pen. No, I'm gonna expect them to tell me a story about why I should invite them for an interview. Like at least in terms of this is my set of skills, and that's why it matches like the job description. Let's talk to this guy, right, or this girl. And at the same time, like if I'm gonna reach out to you and ask you for like tell you about this opportunity I have for you, I'm not gonna expect that you have CV ready. Like most of the time, I'm gonna be like, your LinkedIn's fine as long as it tells the same story. Like, and if I want to present you to like a client or whatever, like I'm probably gonna be okay working with your LinkedIn. So that's a thing, like to keep in mind. Like it depends on the experience, seniority, and a lot of other stuff. Like with experience, there comes like you have certain benefits, I believe, like you already have that, as you said, you have testimonials to what you've done, like you have references. But the biggest struggle and most challenges have those candidates that don't have that experience yet. So I believe like, yeah, and we've seen like a bunch of generators for CVs, you know, but when it comes to tech candidates, what I love seeing is their GitHub profiles, you know, like, and just having, you can build your own portfolio there. Like, that's a great start for anyone looking for a job, you know. That's a way to tell a story.
So the GitHub profile.
Yeah.
Like in my case, it's like private, so you don't see the things that I'm working on, which is not very good, I guess. So
I'm talking about juniors, you know, like when
juniors?
it comes like
Oh,
to more
okay,
experience.
okay,
Yeah.
got it.
When it comes to more, yeah, that's why I said it's a great way to tell your story and like get your foot through the door and get into the interview process, you know. Like with senior candidates, it's completely different. Like we already have your references, you know.
Yeah. Ah, got it. Yeah. So juniors GitHub profile, and the thing that I always wondering about was the like the coding test. You have like to write like a coding challenge. Is this still a thing? I never did it, but is this still a thing? And does it really help to identify the right candidate?
I asked a founder recently because I've figured out the candidates were using ChatGPT for coding tests. Of course, they're gonna be using ChatGPT, you know, like, and I asked them like, you know, they're using it, and he was like, yeah, you know, like I was like, okay, so how do you feel about it? And he was like, if he knows how to write prompts, you know, like, and get a good answer out of it, like I'm fine with it because I know they're gonna be using it on the job as well. Like what matters more in this case is the technical interview, you know, like, so coding tests are going to take a turn, definitely, like in terms of what they represent in the hiring process. And we're going to put more of our attention into technical interviews, which is also going to be more expensive because like technical interviews are usually done by experienced hiring managers and technical managers at the company, you know, like, and their hours are expensive, you know, like, so yeah, selection process is probably going to be more rigorous.
Yeah. And with that in mind, if I were like a junior now, what are the key things that I have to take care or have to provide, or how would I prepare for like such an interview? Because I never had such an interview. I was always like, hey, here's my CV, there's a testimonial, I want that amount of money, and maybe it's okay, maybe it's not okay, and that's it. So I never had like the preparation to write a cover letter and stuff like that. Never did that. I don't know how to write it. Maybe with ChatGPT I could write it, but I never did. But what's your like the top of the head top 5 things that somebody should prepare for and have in mind?
Well, it depends on the position, I guess, you know, but I believe like it's pretty much always a good like start from scratch with algorithms and data structures, for example, you know, like you can never go wrong with that. Like get that ground set so in case those questions pop up, you're ready, you know, like I hate whiteboarding. Like I'm totally against it because I've seen it in like technical interviews, engineers being pulled out to a whiteboard to, you know, like do a challenge, whatever, you know, like, and not everyone's fit for that. Like you're like, not everyone wants to be on the whiteboard and do the challenge, you know, like, so I believe technical interviews need to have certain tone, and if, but at the same time, juniors should expect such things to happen as well. So, like, as we said, like planning is half of the work done. So yeah, start with data structures, algorithms, and the basics, like, and then build your way up with the language you're like most skilled in. And then like it depends. Like for front end positions, I think it's the most challenging one, because it was always funny to me how companies expect candidates that have experience with certain frameworks for JavaScript, which is like 50 of them at this point, but the main ones. And then they expect you to have experience with it, but then they ask you questions about vanilla JS. And let's like, they're going to ask you about vanilla JS, like you should get your ground set up there. So yeah, that's my experience with technical interviews. Like start from the basics and build your way up.
Yeah. And on the, let's say on the soft skill side, like you said, like whiteboarding, I hate whiteboarding. I don't like to speak in front of people.
Exactly.
And it will definitely throw me off rails. So like, could you please draw something? No.
Exactly. I'm pretty much the same. Yeah.
But soft skills, I guess there is like a difference again between millennials and Gen Z. Maybe we, like the millennials, should be more like open to such tasks, and the Gen Z maybe like a little bit quieter. Or what's
no, I think we just like we pushed ourselves out of our comfort zone more often, when it came to these things. Like even today, like when I give a talk or something, like this is not what's like, even being on podcast is probably not in like compatible with me and my sensitivity, like these are highly stressful situations for me, but we kept pushing ourselves out of our comfort zones. At the same time, I think a lot of companies are putting their attention to candidate experience right nowadays. Candidate experience is important because of several things, including like how your company is going to be perceived in the job market, and talent talk among themselves, so I do believe we are moving away from those practices. And especially if we all came to a conclusion that whiteboarding is bad, like you don't pull up candidates to do a test on a whiteboard, So they shouldn't do it if they're not comfortable. That's my opinion, at least. Like if you're not comfortable with it, you should speak it, like say it, like guys or whatever, like people in this room, like please don't make me get in that spot because like I'm not comfortable with it. So being honest is a quite good start. If it doesn't fit, it's a good thing. Like if they think it's wrong, you said that you're not comfortable with it, they're probably gonna expect you to do more of those stuff, and then that's just not a cultural fit, like they're not fit to you as well. So move on.
Yeah, that's the best way to keep away those stressful situations.
Yeah.
You said be honest. What I saw, maybe that's just my experience with like the agency business. Honesty is sometimes not really the strong side. It's not appreciated because people don't like when you say it how it is, with respect, always.
Yeah.
But in the hiring process, there is a lot of show and shine and promises, and a lot of companies tell you this and that, like they try to pull you in, and the moment you sign, it's a trap, the door is closed, and you realize after 6 months, oh, damn, it is not like they said. Where do you stand on that? Do you advise your clients like, hey, please be open as much as possible, and even if it's like not always good? Or what's your...
With Recruit, I can't really follow up with candidates because I don't have the data, like who's hired, where is he, and stuff like that. But with Omnis, I had the data, like if we hired someone. So we had the process like of reaching out to them after 3 months and after 6 months to check in with them, and check if everything's fine. Like if we saw that something's not working with the company, we would tell the company, because we were in the position to advise them. Like we were like, okay, so here's what we learned about the process, what doesn't work for you anymore, and this is about what we learned about your employee experience, because we gathered this data not just for ourselves to improve our processes internally, like, but also to know, like, if this company is not going to be changing like their ways, we probably shouldn't be working with them, because we don't want to refer people to the companies that are not working well. So in terms of that, I do believe in the philosophy behind reputational management online, and platforms like Glassdoor, but I think they're set up wrongly, because like you need to have data who was in the process, if they were really in the process, like, because at some point it can be just like any candidate that was not happy because they didn't get a job, like. So I think there should be a way to check those reviews before putting them online. So that's also a way for candidates to figure out if they should be working somewhere. But as I said, most of the like talent I've been working with and talking with, they check with their peers about companies they're like currently in the process with, which is a great way to learn, like if something works or not. So yeah, communities are really important on these things.
Yeah, I guess that's your USP, because when I work at a company and I see, okay, or at a different company, and or I work there, I don't know, I have some connection with this entity, and I see you are hiring for them, so there's like a job, I can be open about it and say, hey, that's a good place, but don't expect to have like fruit baskets every Monday. That's the only downside. So it could be more like detached from the company itself. It could be more like honest, and because like in between people, it's not any management level. And yeah, that's good. I don't
what
think
I've seen is that they're
Sorry?
mostly using Reddit for this stuff, which is funny. Like they talk mostly on Reddit about companies. You seem surprised.
Yeah, because I know Reddit as a total different thing.
Yeah,
So
that's what I said. Communities.
Yeah, they are talking about companies, their experience in those companies, like
Yeah.
okay,
And all the closed Slack groups and like Telegram chats, whatever is this that it brings them closer, whether it's like JavaScript devs in Montreal or whatever, like if it brings them together, that's where they're gonna exchange their experiences about the employers. So yeah.
I would bet that a lot of those Glassdoor and Kununu and stuff, because Kununu is something like in Germany, they are a lot of like company initiated reviews, like, hey, could you please write something that sounds decent and doesn't make us look bad? That's like fake reviews, let's say, like fake reviews. So that's I guess one thing. Okay. So what are you, or how could I put it? What are the next steps in your journey with Recrooit?
Well, we've had a couple of setbacks, but we just launched and tested out this job description generator built on top of OpenAI. I believe it serves its purpose, like to give you a quick job description if you're too lazy to write it out. It needs more work to be done, definitely, like in terms of what I've mentioned, biases and so on. And we're gonna be launching a new version in May of Recruit. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
I think I saw that like a few weeks ago on Product Hunt.
Yeah,
I think it was the product. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a fun project. We quickly, like, we built it in a week, and then we launched it, shipped it, and launched it, and it was quite fun to work with it.
How big is your team?
Oh, we're a really small team. It's 4 of us.
Well, I guess that's enough. If you get the job done, that's I don't think you need 500 people.
No.
Yeah.
No, we have ChatGPT now.
We fired 4.
Soon I'm gonna quit as well.
Yeah. I think that's a wrap.
That's a wrap.
Yeah. Thank you very much for your time again. And I hope, or we will see us on Twitter. And maybe when I come to Belgrade, we can meet in person.
I'd love that. And yeah, I love meeting my Twitter friends in real life. Thank you for inviting me.
Great. Have a nice evening.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.